Let's get Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 12th, and we are here for yet another virtual Wisdom Council call. Tonight, we're exploring surrender. We're calling this one Untangle Your Emotions, Anchor into Your Heart, which I think Eleanor is really going to explore the energetic core and what that can mean for us in times like these. Before we get started, I just want to bring everybody's attention to what's going on soon. The very first weekend of May, I believe that's the 3rd and the 4th, Eleanor is teaching the next spring chill class. So this is your chance to come and study at the Sacred Center, or you can do it online. The class is open to anybody who has taken an intro or had a one-on-one session with Eleonora. If you haven't started yet and you want to, just send Elle an email. You can click respond to any of the emails you get from the Sacred Center to talk about how to kind of get settled before you start your studies at the Sacred Center School for the Healing Arts. This is one of 4 classes that is taught throughout the year at somewhere around the turn of each season. So that's on the website. And also on the website, you will find that the next trip for Peru is there. That's happening in September. And there's only about 5 spots left. So if you're considering traveling to Peru with Eleonora, going on a journey this year, I invite you to look at the website for some of the details and also to contact Elle to let her know that you might be interested and to move forward with that. And so without further ado, I think it's time for us to get started. Elle?
Hi. Hey, everyone. It's been 6 weeks or maybe a little longer since we did the last one. And, it sounded like a really, pointed kind of conversation. But as I got into it, it feels a little bit holographic at this moment. Untangle your emotions and anchor into the heart. When I thought of that, I thought that, most of us, or, everyone has the same preface when they're talking nowadays, with all that's going on in the world. That's how everyone starts the sentence. And in your community, what can we do, or how there, it's an opportunity to go deeper into our own self and find a place that doesn't take sides, that knows how to be with the unknown, that knows how to surrender. And in doing that, you go into a well that takes you into the heart and into a place that feels and then has you live in a non-dualistic way, meaning that you can hold many different energies at once without doing that. And actually, that was the whole start of the school, the Sacred Center School for the Healing Arts. That's the foundation of it, and it's been, I don't know, a long time since it began. And I feel like right now the universe is really conspiring on our behalf. We're in like the middle of what was and what will be. We're in the middle, holding both. So we're doing it, and we haven't caught up to how to really hold both opposing forces at once. This is our opportunity to really evolve and to live from a place of awareness and not from a place of fear and needing to know what the future is going to hold. All of those things. So with that, something came through. Like as I was my brain felt a little scrambled. How do I put this into words, kind of thing? And this is what came through. So untangle the emotions and anchor into the heart. Surrender and go deep into the well of the heart, where compassion lives and shines for yourself. And this is like an important point. Compassion for self. That's the only way you can ever embody non-duality, is having compassion for self. I didn't do that. I should have did that. Why didn't I do that? I would have done that. And when things happen in our world, it's like I need to go, I pray for this one and that one and whatever. Those are all great things, but our own embodiment of compassion is so not taught. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. Maybe it's because we don't really live in the mountains, in nature, where nature teaches us these things, So that's an important piece of, like, hopefully what the healing and the transmissions and the sound will bring about, like really sitting with your heart and holding it and having compassion. So it lives and shines for yourself, and go deep and show up at this time in history, right? Show up, don't hide, show up. Doesn't have to be perfect. You could even curse if you want to. And and just show up. All traditions say this is the beginning of a new day. All traditions. A shift is happening, and we're coming into an unknown place, which is a terrifying thing for most. So another really law that we live by, that I live by, is constantly being comfortable with what I don't know, that I don't know. So that, in saying that, my energy immediately goes like that, right? I don't know what I don't know, right? And it's the ability to really breathe your environment, not block it, breathe it, and take it in and let it go, and take it in and let it go. And I think Sue said this, maybe she'll say it a little later. In one of the classes when I asked, like, she just mentioned something that really sat with me, and it was that the way of teaching this is a very feminine way, because it's not like this is what we want to accomplish and this is what you need to do. It's more like a breath in and a breath out, and it can be a very creative process. And it can be different with everyone. And the Chumpies actually create like a vessel around us. Like if you looked at the galaxy and the stars, you could find forms, geometric forms, diamonds, squares, hexagons, that then create this energetic house and place around you, so that you don't spin out of control. Like, we need anchors. So in this meditation today, we want to try to get that and anchor it through our heart. And in connecting with our heart with non-judgment, we come to a place in our emotions that then untangles, right? And then we don't have to keep carrying them in twisted places, and then it shows up in different times in our life. And if it shows up in the future, yeah, so what? It doesn't make us feel bad or terrible. You know what I mean? It's just like something, it's more of a feeling and not an emotion. There's a very big difference between an emotion and a feeling. A feeling is fluid, it comes in and out. An emotion actually has an energetic form that sits inside of us and creates osteoporosis, headaches, stomach aches, constipation, right? So it's kind of like breaking all that apart and letting everything just kind of flow. And this is all a process, but this is very, very accessible to us now more than ever. Not just as an idea, but as an actual embodiment and truth. So, right, allow letting go of old habits, the rearrangement takes place, and we remember the light of the heart. So the light of the heart is what connects us to the light of the source, the sun, right? So the sun is really our heart, and that flame is our life force that then teaches us, because we're not judging us anymore, non-duality. And so I might be sounding a little confusing. Sue, do you want to just comment a little bit on that? What I said? Anything? Any comments? I can't hear you. Oh. Mhm.
Um, I don't know that I have anything more to say. It's more like the work that we've been doing is like having one foot here in this place and not being caught in the emotion, but just being in this place and being free to not to be in a larger space, like in,
And
right.
right, and being honest about it, right? Being honest about it and authentic, and about moments where it's devastating, right?
Yeah, that
But
so it in all of this, the tricky part is not getting caught in the emotional reaction to like every day some big change is happening, some big collapse is happening. How not to get like hooked in, but to like to try and observe it and then, I don't know, be in that unknown. We don't know.
and you reminded me too. It is being, let's, just for sake of conversation, like we're in 3D now, right? Which is a collective place. So we experience what the collective experiences, and we do that always. But, when we pray and when we're in a really higher self place, we're in 4D. Let's call it fourth dimension. We're not aware of that all the time because life is so, I don't know what the adjective is. Life is so complex. So we, just getting food and paying your bills and sending your kids off and worrying about them and not worrying and all this kind of stuff, you know, is very tricky. So it's like we're in both, and that's part of my teaching, is teaching people, showing them how you can be in both places at once without taking drugs and um, and that's been the way people have done it in the past 30, 40 years, with actually being able to straddle. That's actually, in shamanic terms, that's the path of the jaguar, to straddle both worlds together and actually can actually transform situations and health problems and all kinds of stuff, right? So, anybody from the class want to add something to this?
Al, I just want to, we were talking before about that relationship between surrender and being part of the collective. And I wonder if you want to say a little bit more about that, because you said the sense that we need, in order to be part of the collective, we need to learn to surrender, I think was what you said. And that was really intriguing.
Yeah. Um, Not give in, right? Me being one person that hated to join any clubs, because you pay dues and you have to do what they say. No, surrender means the ability to collectively hear and swallow and breathe in an idea, a thought, a process without judging it, and then come to an opinion afterwards. And that's a true working, expanding, beautiful collective community that we hope we can really build. And in my last, I think that's why my trips to Peru in the last couple of years have grown, because, when you're sleeping with people and eating together, there's all sorts of like opinions that could fly between people. And yet the mountains themselves and the way people are, the aini, which is such an important word, the aini, the reciprocity between you and the stars, you and the mountains, you and the Pachamama, you and people, is that they live and breathe that. So when you really surrender and let go of your own opinion, you really get the, you're really in that beautiful flow, and you end up doing things that you've never thought were possible, like hiking at 12,000 feet. And you didn't die, stuff like that. So but it just feels like that's kind of the core of what we all, I'm excited about this now. I'm really excited. I'm excited about collective. I'm very excited about the collective. I think the universe is really conspiring with us to really have things like this, and hopefully we can still keep in touch even in between the wisdom calls. Yeah, Mateo.
I'm just going to add in, I mean, I think what I've learned and absorbed and what we've all shared over all these years and all these conversations and journeys is that surrendering, we're holding surrendering and surrender in that collectivist space, which is a feminist space, and it's not in the kind of losing, giving up, abandoning all kind of the separation, which is that kind of patriarchal individual, power over mindset, right? Even in the yogic philosophy, like the idea of surrender is like to melt into the greater ocean. It's to merge and join, or to be, entwined with everything, or incorporated. I mean, sometimes I think about it like you take separate ingredients and they give up, they surrender their separateness to be mixed into the batter to make to make the bread or to make the food. So it's like a shift in state and a shift in consciousness. And but we're fighting against all the ways that we've been conditioned and programmed in our westernized cultures about, win or lose and power over. So just to loop it back, this is the radical collective feminist way, which we clearly need.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really true. The thing as you were talking, I heard like this part we cannot do alone. We need to do it collectively, because the important part through this is the surrender part. It's like surrender, not give in. I think people confuse that. Surrender, and then be part of the ocean, and then learn how to. We were talking about water with someone. It's like, in the ancient days, nobody knew where the water came from. They hid that, because someone can go and poison a whole community if they found out the source of the water. The source of the water was life for the whole area, for the whole community, for the whole country. Actually, there was only, like in Peru, not many sources that fed all of the country. So it's kind of like a metaphor on like what we're doing now, and it's time. It's really time. There are things that we just need a collective, and this is my intention with the calls as well. And so I don't know what's going to happen with the sounds. A few new sounds came in today, so we'll see. But oh yeah, this is the form that I got. The form was as above, so below. So this is important because we need to lay in a form, right? We don't need to, but the chumpies are the bridge between this world and the next. So it's perfect. It makes it makes this process so much easier, actually. So you need a triangle, a pyramid pointed up, and actually it doesn't matter where the bottom goes. You can put it wherever, either on your ankles or your hips, right? So you need three, the pyramid up and the opposing pyramid down, from the shoulders probably, or the opposite the brain. Either the head, the shoulders, and down, whatever feels best for you. So when me and Marisa wrote this, some of the things that stand out is the triangle that points towards the heavens represents our highest aspirations and a connection to spirit. And the triangle that points downward is our groundedness and connection to the earth. Oh, so that brings me to another point, the groundedness. I don't know, I think I'm going to keep mentioning this too, is that we are electrical. And so we often forget when we're in this non-duality space that like we have a core. Like our core is electrical. Our brain is a massive computer that sends messages down through our spine and into the earth. And that's, I mean, it's outrageous. That's how everything gets done. This sends here, that here, that here, that here. So for years and years, I've been working with really acknowledging that and embodying that in my own body through, I always have a purba at hand. And so I use a purba is like a Tibetan tool, and here's a head, and it just is, it always reminds me that this is me. And like if I this is what do you call those things outside, the electrical pole that sends messages to all the houses, right? This is the one that sends messages from here and then from there to here through my spine and into the earth and to every cell in my body. So I think that we should keep remembering that and really embodying that, so it's not something that we have to keep remembering. It is the truth. I think energetically we tend to like think it's like here. But it's really, this is very important. So when you don't have to add all these numbers up, but really put a nice big stone on your heart, because that'll represent that core on your heart, right? And if you do this at home, you could put something here and something above the head, like an antenna, so that you keep reminding your cells, oh, wait, I'm like hooked in electromagnetically, right? And you'll be surprised, your body feels better. Anybody else no? Okay. So we'll just go and get the stones, and then I'll start.
Oh, I think you probably already have the original musicians on, but you just hit a bowl and make sure it sounds good for me. Yep,
Okay.
it works.
Okay, good. And when you're ready, you can come back to the group. Love seeing some of the people I haven't seen in a while. Um, so I would encourage you to kind of lay in the form for a week. It had many different layers to it, and I think it'll start to sink in a little bit. Marisa?
I was really aware of the back of my heart throughout this entire one. I ended up doing it in child's pose. I really did not want to lie on the floor, and it felt right just to kind of move with it a little bit more. Occasionally kind of get on my hands and knees, but mostly I really needed to receive it into my back. And it was like a almost sense of first blue and then green jewels going into my back from that direction, which feels like the right kind of new. Oh, sorry. And Nula was really involved too. Sorry, she needs to leave the office. Um, but yeah, that was really gorgeous. Thank you so much. And even the dogs liked it at this.
Ah, that's a good
Okay.
point, though. You don't have to be on your back. You could be sitting, actually, um, or any other way that you want.
This is a great form I found to put around my desk chair, though it's hard, when you accidentally roll around on it. But having the two triangles, I've worked with it a lot under my chair for, I'm sitting for a day with clients and things. I find it can be really supportive. So I will probably be doing that.
Right. If anyone doesn't have chumpies, by the way, get in touch with me because I am going to Peru in June on a chumpy making trip. So you might want to contact me if you want a set of chumpies. The sets from now on will be 13. Also, if anybody has chumpies to 12, contact me to let you have a 13, okay? Because I really like we're in a new chapter and a collective one. So the one thing I like about the chumpies is you could hold them. They're real. You know what I mean? It makes everything real, and not just in your head. Any last thoughts, Sue?
Well, for me, I felt like like in the beginning, everything started to fall away, almost like, pieces cracking and falling off. And then I just found like this falling into, like that heart space falling in. And then, of course, once I get into that space, I lose track of space, time, everything kind of disappears. Um, but I'm going to lay in this. And I'm also, I'm glad you brought that up, Marisa, because to be able to put those stones like around your chair, if your chair is stationary, I've rolled mine around a lot, so I can't really do that. But also, like, I'm probably going to put them around my bed tonight, lay in it all night.
So we don't really have the time to go through everyone and their impressions here. But I would really encourage you to text me or to email me, because it just makes everything more, it fills out the energetic place that we're promoting and that we're putting out here. The more individual response you give me, the more it like fills out the coloring book, like, oh, that was and then we actually embody it and make it real as a collective rather than just go back and you did, like you get what you get. And maybe for the next, maybe that might be something that I would talk about the next time, like collectively what this brought me, receiving the different impressions or the different healings that happen from today and for a week. Don't forget, I mean, March 15th or 13th or 14th, this eclipse is being promoted as something really outlandish. So I'm looking forward to the flashing lights and like how it's going to like shift and change as dramatically or whatever. But it is, whenever the earthquakes happen or floods or anything like that, it just really rearranges the cells in everyone's body, like, so it's kind of good to be aware of it. And I'll try to work collectively with it as well. So that even when you go back to your home, like, we're working collectively. So any last thoughts, Mateo?
Well, you beat me too because I put in the chat box about the lunar eclipse because
Uh,
I got a clear glimpse of Thoth.
oh,
And, and I think that was brought on by the bowls or the gongs because there was this kind of alternating, you know, below, above, and then it just scrambled up so much. Um, and kind of like you were saying before, it's getting more and more comfortable with not knowing what you don't know. And here we are in this three-dimensional realm, and we know there are more dimensions. We know there's fourth and fifth and whatever. Calculating that out and doing the quantum math makes my brain hurt, but I know it exists. And so I caught like a little glimpse of like how our, our overlocking, interlocking triangles in that 2D, 3D way is like a projection from something I can't even really quite describe in some fourth and fifth dimensional way. And I don't have to figure it out. I just need to be with that and be with all you and be with everything else that the trees know and that the fungi in the soil know. And then we'll work on it together.
yeah, yep. Sprinkle, it's true. Sprinkling some being open to. I'll tell you, this is something personally individually I'm working on. Is like if this higher frequency, I'm calling it 4D, we're able to acknowledge it and integrate it into our cells. What does that do to our body? You know, like hopefully it'll help us not go down the 3D track of getting whatever you're supposed to get when you're 30, 40, 50, whatever, as your body disintegrates. There's light that's shining through. It's definitely happening. So, yeah, so I look forward to seeing everybody next time. And please, yeah, text, email me. It's nice for me, so to just get like little feedback, you know? Okay? Love everybody here, and we'll see you next chapter. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.